Friends, imagine a ship sailing on the vast ocean. The Constitution is like the ship itself, strong and sturdy. It carries the hopes and dreams of 140 crore Indians. Now, what are the directive principles of state policy? They are like the compass and the lighthouse guiding this ship towards a safe and prosperous harbour. The DPSPs are not mere words on paper. They are the conscience of the Constitution. They lay down the framework for a just and equitable society. They are the goals that our government is morally obligated to achieve. Think of it like this: fundamental rights are like the strong branches of a tree, protecting our individual liberties. The DPSPs are the roots nourishing the tree and ensuring its long-term health and growth. But what makes DPSPs unique? It is their focus on the collective good. They remind us that true freedom comes with responsibilities. We must strive not just for our own well-being, but for the well-being of all. Now, you might wonder, where did this idea of DPSPs come from? Well, like many good things in our Constitution, the inspiration came from elsewhere. The concept of DPSPs was borrowed from the Irish Constitution, but we didn't just borrow it, we made it our own. The seeds of DPSPs were sown even before independence in the Government of India Act of 1935, but it was our founding fathers who gave them a central place in our Constitution. They recognized that political freedom without economic and social justice is meaningless. Think of our freedom fighters. They fought not just for independence from the British, but for a free and equal India for all. The DPSPs are a reflection of their dreams and aspirations. They are a reminder that our journey towards a just and equitable society is a continuous one. And this journey requires the active participation of both the government and the citizens. Now let's talk about the different types of DPSPs. You see, our DPSPs are like a beautiful tapestry woven with threads of different ideologies. They reflect the diverse aspirations of our people. They can be broadly classified into three categories: socialist, Gandhian, and liberal intellectual. The socialist principles aim to reduce economic disparities and create a more egalitarian society. They advocate for things like equal pay for equal work, right to work, and prevention of concentration of wealth. The Gandhian principles draw inspiration from the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. They emphasize on village panchayats, cottage industries, and prohibition. These principles prioritize the upliftment of rural India and the preservation of our traditional values. The liberal intellectual principles focus on individual liberty and democratic values. They emphasize on things like free and compulsory education, a uniform civil code, and the separation of the judiciary from the executive. Think of it this way: the socialist principles aim to create a level playing field. The Gandhian principles aim to preserve our roots, and the liberal intellectual principles aim to empower every citizen. Now, you might ask, if these DPSPs are so important, why are they not enforceable by the courts? Why are they non-justiciable? Well, there's a reason for that too. Our founding fathers were wise. They knew that achieving these goals would take time, resources, and a gradual transformation of society. They didn't want to burden the courts with these complex socio-economic issues. They understood that the responsibility to implement DPSPs lies primarily with the government. But does that mean they're just empty promises? No, not at all. While DPSPs are not legally binding, they are morally binding on the government. They serve as a constant reminder of the government's duties towards its citizens. Think of it like this: if fundamental rights are the rules of the game, DPSPs are the objectives. You might not always win by following the rules, but you're always playing to achieve the objective. Section 5, From Paper to Reality, DPSPs in Action. Now let's talk about how these DPSPs have actually been implemented. Over the years, various governments have taken steps to translate these principles into reality. They have enacted several laws and policies inspired by the DPSPs. For example, the Right to Education Act of 2009, which makes education a fundamental right for children aged 6 to 14, is a direct outcome of Article 45 of the DPSPs. Similarly, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2005, which guarantees 100 days of employment to rural households, is based on Article 41. The Minimum Wages Act, the Maternity Benefit Act, the Zamindari Abolition Act, and many other such laws are all inspired by the principles enshrined in the DPSPs. These laws aim to ensure social security, improve working conditions, and promote social welfare. These are just a few examples of how DPSPs have shaped our legal and policy landscape. They have played a crucial role in our journey towards becoming a more just and equitable society. Section 6. The road to welfare is paved with challenges. But friends, the path to progress is never smooth. There are challenges in implementing DPSPs. One of the biggest challenges is the lack of resources. Our country has limited financial resources, and fulfilling all the aspirations enshrined in the DPSPs requires significant investment. Another challenge is the diversity of our nation. India is a land of diverse cultures, languages, and religions. What might be a priority for one region or community might not be so for another. Balancing these diverse needs and aspirations is a complex task. Then there's the issue of political will. Sometimes governments might prioritize short-term political gains over long-term social welfare. This can hinder the effective implementation of DPSPs. But despite these challenges, we must remember that the DPSPs are not meant to be achieved overnight. They are a continuous journey, a constant striving towards a better future. Section 7. A Symphony of Rights and Directives. Friends, let's understand one thing very clearly. The fundamental rights and the DPSPs are not contradictory to each other. They are complementary and supplementary. They are like two sides of the same coin. While fundamental rights protect our individual liberties, the DPSPs ensure that these liberties are enjoyed in a just and equitable society. Imagine a society where everyone has the right to equality but lives in abject poverty. What good is the right to equality if it doesn't translate into a life of dignity and opportunity? The DPSPs aim to create an environment where everyone has a fair chance to succeed, where everyone can live a life of dignity and respect. They remind us that true freedom comes with a sense of social responsibility. Think of it like this. Fundamental rights are the notes, and the DPSPs are the melody. Together they create a beautiful symphony of justice and equality. Section 8. DPSP, the enduring dream of a just India. As we move forward, the DPSPs will continue to be our guiding light. They are the roadmap to a better future, a future where every Indian, regardless of their background, can live a life of dignity and opportunity. Yes, there will be challenges, there will be obstacles, but we must never lose sight of the vision enshrined in the DPSPs. We must continue to strive towards a just and equitable society, a society that our founding fathers dreamt of. So, let us all pledge to uphold the spirit of the DPSPs. Let us work together to build a nation where every citizen has a fair chance to succeed, where every dream can take flight. Let us make India a shining example of what a nation can achieve when its people are guided by the principles of justice, equality, and fraternity.